Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live episode of the Sports Report Live Sunday night, coming to you with the world of athletics as it was and as it shall be. I am your host, the radio guy, Mike Prince. We want to welcome you to another episode. Tonight, we'll hear about the Battle of Waller County between the Royal Falcons and the Hempstead Bobcats. Royal comes up a little short. We'll hear from Coach Greg Anderson. We'll also hear from Coach Royce Hill. We'll even hear from Gene Johnson as the Bulldogs fell short to the Brenham Cubs on Friday. We'll hear from Associate Athletic Director of University of Arkansas Pine-Bluff, Duane with the big win that they've had over the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take us a break and we'll come back and get right into tonight's episode.
The birth of legends are storied in this conference. We must never forget our rich history. We now turn our gaze to the future. The new legends will emerge. New heroes to arise. The Southwestern Athletic Conference. Be our history.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Call Agent Jeremy West at 936-931-3696 to see if you qualify to save up to 40% off your auto insurance.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Report Live. Mike Prince here with you as we'll get ready to jump right into the weekend that was. In the Battle of Waller County, it saw the Royal Falcons hosting the Hempstead Bobcats. Royal falls a little short by the score of 41-8. But another big win in Waller County, or in the Waller County neighborhood area, was that from the Rose Hill Christian Eagles. We'll now hear quickly a report on Rose Hill Christian Eagles, and we'll jump right back with more of our scoring coverage.
Hey, I'm just calling to report the score of Rose Hill Christian and Posadi Catholic. Rose Hill Christian wins 57-14. Trevor Manning was 5 for 5 for 135 yards and a touchdown. And the Eagles ran 36 times for 393 yards and 7 touchdowns.
So you heard it right there. Rose Hill Christian Eagle with a huge win, a huge night with 7 touchdowns, over 396 yards, almost 400 yards of rushing. on the night. We'll get a little bit more breakdown of the Rose Hill Christian Eagles as we, throughout the season, we'll hear from Dennis Krantz. Due to some scheduling, we weren't able to get him scheduled for tonight, but we'll be hearing from him in the very near future. The Bulldogs fell short 38-13 to the Brenham Cubs. I'm thinking Hempstead Bobcats, but the Brenham Cubs. And so with that, the Bulldogs dropped to 0-6, 0-2. They'll be on the road. Next week, they'll take on Sealy. And next week, Hempstead will be hosting Scarborough. No, that'll be hosted by Royal Falcons. Royal Falcons will host Scarborough. And we have the Bobcats. They will be taking on Academy. That's who that is. Academy. You never can tell what happens when you go live, right? But we will be hearing from the Royal Falcons coach in just a moment. That would be none other than Greg Anderson. It's some scoring from the college ranks. We'll break that down in just a little bit. Prairie View falling short to the University of Houston Cougars by the score of 37-17. We'll break that down a little bit later on throughout the course of this episode. And, of course, we'll feature the game of the week, which saw the Arkansas Pine-Bluff Golden Lions victorious over the University of Alabama A&M Bulldogs. We're going to take us another break, and we'll get on the line Coach Greg Anderson from Royal to hear the breakdown and what the Falcons will have to do to rebound as they get ready to take on the likes of their next opponent that we just called out, Scarborough. So we'll take a break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Sports Report Live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the next 7 years of bigger and bigger enrollments, America's grade schools will need nearly 250,000 extra teachers besides those to fill normal vacancies. This great need, plus the growing public interest in education and improvements in schools, make elementary school teaching a more rewarding career than ever, a career that high school and college students should certainly consider. Education holds America's future, perhaps your future.
Do you know what's up with Ryan? He's been acting weird and he's not hanging out anymore.
He borrowed money from me and still hasn't paid it back.
His girlfriend broke up with him a couple weeks ago. Said he was more into his sports app than her.
He may be addicted to fantasy sports. We need to get him some help.
Sports betting and fantasy sports can have serious consequences. Know somebody with a gambling problem? Get free and confidential help. Call 1-877-MY-LIMIT. That's 1-877-695-4648. Or go online to opgr.org.
And welcome back to the Sports Report Live. This is Mike Prince as we are now getting ready for our first segment of the evening. We'll hear from Coach Greg Anderson of the Royal Falcons. Royal falling short to Hempstead as we'll introduce to some and present to others none other than Coach Anderson. Coach, how you doing on this evening, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, sir, for the hospitality on Friday night. Came up a little shorter than expected. Give us a recap on the game from your perspective, and then we'll go from there.
Well, like I said, we had some struggles early on offensively. You know, their speed defensively gave us a little bit of trouble. You know, Hempstead's known for bringing a lot of people to the line of scrimmage and sending a lot of people. And we got 3 offensive linemen that's in their first year of varsity playing. And so we struggled early on with that. I felt like we got a little bit of it corrected in the second half, but by then we were just a little bit too far behind and couldn't ever really get any real momentum going.
Absolutely. Now, that was one of the things we talked about the week before, having a young team, still trying to build a new culture, identity. What are some of the things that you take from this game that can help you down the road?
Well, I thought we fixed a few things at halftime and went out and executed a little bit better at times. You know, our sophomore quarterback, I thought he played like a sophomore in the first half. I thought he left the pocket a little bit too early at times. Misread coverages a couple times, but I thought he really settled down in the second half and played much better. So that was a positive sign we took out of Friday night. And then, like I said, I think our offensive line started executing a little bit better in the second half. So a couple of those positives we certainly took away from Friday night.
Absolutely. Now, one thing about it, it's a young team, but it's a physical team. You guys had a very physical game plan and approach, at least from my vantage point. Is that going to be the identity of the Falcons in the near future?
Well, that's what we're trying to get to. We play in a very physical district with the likes of Belleville and LaGrange and Giddings. You know, those guys are known for smash mouth football. So for us to be able to compete with those guys, we've got to have a lot of the same mentality, certainly up front, offensively and defensively. So, yes, that's kind of the mindset we're trying to get to.
Okay, now with this one right here, you have to get these games behind you. You can't let it beat you the second time with your next opponent. And give us a little bit of insight of what your next opponent would like to try to do and what you think is going to be some of the keys to you guys getting over that hump.
Well, we got to go out this week and improve on the things that we struggled with Friday night. And that was the one thing we took out of watching film this weekend with both coaching staff and the players was we found plenty of things that we've got to get corrected on the practice field and get headed in the right direction. But like I told them when we watched film Saturday morning, 90% of what went wrong Friday was our mistakes. It wasn't as much as what Hempstead was doing. It was things that we've got to get fixed. But, again, they're all fixable, so that's the positive way to look at it. And that's kind of the way we're going into this week against Scarborough. We're trying to get a lot of those things fixed on the practice field and hopefully come out and execute a lot better on Friday.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, maybe I'm just getting old, but it was extremely hot at kickoff time. Did you have any type of heat concerns with some of your student athletes during the course of the game?
Well, anytime you're out there playing 4 full quarters in that kind of heat and humidity, you're always concerned. But our trainer does a great job. Our coaching staff does a great job of preaching hydration throughout the week and making sure we're eating the right kind of foods and getting plenty of rest, each night during the week. But it's a struggle, trying to play in that kind of heat. Fortunately, I didn't think we had any real cramping issues during the game. We had 1 or 2, but it was nothing serious. I know at times Hempstead struggled with some cramps on the field. But from that standpoint, we really didn't have any real major issues during the game.
Okay, well, Coach, guys are looking to part. I know it doesn't show at the end result what you wanted on Friday night, but you can definitely see the rise of the Falcon. They'll get ready to host Scarborough on this Friday. Your kickoff time's at 7:30, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. We're back home. This is actually homecoming week for us, so there'll be a big crowd on hand. Homecoming is always a big thing at Royal High School. A lot of activities during the week, so we have to make sure we do a good job staying focused on the task at hand. But at the same time, you like celebrating homecoming week and all those alumni coming back to watch us on Friday night.
Man, that's already homecoming. Boy, I'm getting older or the days are getting shorter, man.
Well, just because of the way the schedule fell this year, this is the week that worked best for us as far as homecoming because we're on the road again next week, and then after that, we've only got one other non-district home game, so we're going to get out of the way early this year.
Okay, well, homecoming rather early, and I tell you what, Coach, we're going to give it that old Boy Scout effort to make sure we get out there and get you guys covered again. We had a blast. We thank you guys for the hospitality and everything that was going. And what we're going to do is give you some final thoughts and comments before we close this segment out.
Well, like I said, we took a lot of things from film from Friday night. Like I said, we're going to go out this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and try to get them fixed. But again, they're all fixable issues. We got to turn things around quickly. As I said, it's homecoming week. Hopefully get out, get a win on Friday, get back on the winning track and get us back, to having a record of more wins than we do losses after week 3.
Well, the Falcons end up with 1-1. They'll try to correct that on Friday night, and we will hear from Coach on the next weekend available, and that'll be next Sunday. Coach, thank you so much, sir, and we're going to take us a break, and we'll be right back with more of the Sports Report Live here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and many, many more. And we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
I know that as parents, we work hard to do everything right. We baby-proof our homes, put our kids in car seats, and learn what to do in an emergency. Yet most parents don't know that children could be poisoned by lead paint in their own homes. Lead poisoning causes permanent learning and behavior disorders, and the culprit is usually dust from peeling or chipping lead paint, which goes from the children's hands right into their mouths. Keep paint in good condition in your home, daycare, and other places where your children live and play. Ask your doctor to test your child for lead poisoning and get your home tested too. For more information on how to address lead paint problems safely, call 1-800-424-LEAD. This has been a public service announcement from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sunday Night Sports Report Live. Mike Prince here with you. We want to thank Coach Greg Anderson on our last segment for the Royal Falcons. And now we'll stay in Waller County. We'll come a little mid-county, and we'll head to Waller, Texas right now and hear from Coach Gene Johnson. Coach, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
All right. Yes, sir. I know it was a rough weekend. Give us a recap, man, and some of the things that you look forward to moving forward throughout this next opponent coming up in Sealy.
Sure. Well, we had a really disappointing first half the other night against Brenham. And, I think as a team, the kids were embarrassed and weren't very proud of the way we played in the first half. And that meant so much to me to know that it bothered them. And I think they showed that a little bit in the second half. We came out in the second half and rallied back a little bit and played better in the second half and had a big play, 90-yard touchdown that was called back, I think, at the beginning of the fourth quarter there, that we would have cut the lead to 10. And I thought we were, in position to make a game out of the thing. But it got called back with the mistake that we made and kind of lost the control of the game from there. But, again, really disappointed in our play and the way we played as a team in the first half, but did see some bright spots in the boys rallying back and playing a much better second half.
Absolutely. That was what I was going to allude to, Coach. It's obvious to point out what went wrong, but the fact that you say the guys fought back hard and they showed that they cared about, the result of the game. How do you take that to build as you get ready to stay a little bit in the county? You'll go a little bit outside in Austin County when you take on the Sealy Tigers. How do you use that for momentum for this week's opponent?
Well, I think, if you're not learning from your mistakes, then you're doomed to repeat your mistakes. And so hopefully we can learn from, the importance of what we need from a consistent play and a consistent effort and intensity. And there's, we got hit in the mouth with the big pass play to open that game and we didn't respond back. So hopefully we'll learn from our mistakes and do better at overcoming, some negative plays or big plays and getting right back into the mode of fighting and playing hard. And we're going to have to do that against Sealy. They're a very athletic team that reminds you of Brenham and Bryan in a lot of ways. They have some skilled guys that can certainly run. But I think the most important thing offensively is we have got to get to a point where we're executing better. We're still struggling with our center quarterback snaps in the shotgun a little bit and doing some things that hopefully a year or two down the road when we've had our system in place and our young kids have been working on shotgun snaps for a year or two or three under their belt as they progress through the system, that some of these things that we're fighting now, we hope not to be fighting in the future. But I think the focus for us has got to be, cleaning up our execution and responding to things, bad things, in a much better tone. And I'm looking forward to the guys going out Friday night competing against Sealy to see if we can do that.
Absolutely. Right now we're speaking with head football coach of the Waller Bulldogs, Gene Johnson. And in a summary, what I heard, Coach, is that attitude is really going to affect the process of what I'm going to call the growing pains. Is that a safe assumption?
Absolutely. And I think, it's a pretty simple approach that we run into roadblocks in life, and we either quit and we look for a shortcut or a way around it, or we avoid it, or we turn around and go back, or we roll up our sleeves and we crawl over it, through it, break the barrier down and run through it. But that's all about our attitude and our approach to those hurdles when they pop up. So I think 100%, it's we can't even think about winning and talking about winning until our attitude and our approach to the game is consistent and correct.
Well, that is such a dynamic factor, at least in my point of view, about how athletics determines more about the X's and the O's and the wins and the losses. It prepares young men and young women for dealing with adversities that will come down the road in life after you've hung your cleats, your pads up. How you approach the game more than likely is going to dictate how a person approaches life when they're faced with obstacles.
There is no doubt. And, the follow-up question I would have for you is, what more impressionable part of a kiddo's life is the age bracket of 14 to 18 years old as they move from a ninth grade freshman in high school to a senior in high school. And so I think that's what is so important about high school athletics. And I hate to see the trend that's going across the state with, it seems like more kids have other things that are available to them and accessible to them with technology and participation in all of our sports. Our UIL sports have waned to some degree, and I think that's sad, because there's a lot of life lessons that are learned through athletics, and certainly I believe football is one of those that helps kids teach lessons about life. It's one of the rewarding things I've always thought about being a high school coach versus being a college coach or a pro coach is we see the most maturation in an athlete during the time of their high school careers than you could ever see as a pro athlete or a college athlete.
Absolutely. I can recall speaking with one of the college coaches that we keep track of, is Dawson Odoms is his name. And he was speaking on the very thing that today's student athlete has a different whole plethora of things to deal with than, say, you or I would. I'm 52. I don't know quite how old you are, but, it was a different era and a different mindset of dealing with. And it's almost to the point, man, where you have to have a psychology degree when you start coaching some of these kiddos.
Well, there's no doubt, and I will tell you, I'm much younger than you. I'm way younger. You're way younger than you. I turned 50 this last month, so I don't know. Does that qualify me for being much younger? Or?
No, sir. You got your APR card too, so you.
Well, I think we're in the same bracket, and the wonderful thing about living as long as you and I have lived, and having from the bracket or age group that we grew up in, is that we get to see lots of things that are new and neat with technology and that make our lives easier. But in some ways, I think it creates challenges. Some of the things that are making our lives easier are creating a different set of challenges for our youth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I concur with that completely, and I wish we can't take technology and advancement of those things away. I just hope we can keep our youth grounded and headed in the right direction.
Bring the true social.
The distractions.
Bring the true social back to social.
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, Coach, look, we want to thank you, and for those that keep up with Waller Bulldog action, don't forget they'll be in Sealy, Texas. That kickoff is going to be at 7:30, right, Coach?
That's correct.
Okay, 7:30 will be the kickoff time. The Bulldogs will try to get in the win column as they'll take on the Sealy Tigers. And guess what? We'll be right there to give you all what's going on throughout the world of Waller Bulldog sports. We're going to take us another break for right now. And when we come back, we'll get ready with more of the Sports Report Live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network in Prairie View, Texas. Okay, Coach Dick, we need to do this break.
Broadcasters come into our lives on radio and TV, bringing us information and entertainment. Broadcasters are there for us, but who is there for them when they fall on hard times? The Broadcasters Foundation of America provides financial assistance to broadcasters in acute need due to a critical illness, accident, or other serious misfortune. If you know of a broadcaster on the air or behind the scenes who may need our help, please share our message. Visit broadcastersfoundation.org. Broadcasters come into our lives.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and another, and many, many more. And we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Report Live. Mike Prince here with you. We're rolling right along. Remind people that you can join us each and every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have been blessed. We've been joined by our Hempstead representation. That is none other than Coach Royce Hill, the Hempstead Bobcats. Coach, congratulations and welcome to the show, man.
Well, thank you. Like I said, it's always my pleasure to be a part of your broadcast, and thank you for having me again.
Well, man, look, I can't do it without you guys, and so we'll just keep on plugging together. How about that?
Yes, sir. That sounds like a deal for sure.
Yes, sir. Well, the Battle of Waller County resides back again in heavenly Hempstead, Texas. 41-8 was the score. We spoke with Coach Anderson earlier in today's show. But give us your bird's eye view on how things unfolded from your perspective with the Bobcats on top.
You know, I think I spoke last week. Like I said, those guys over there, I respect what Coach Anderson is doing with their program. The one thing that I saw on film last week when watching them is those kids are playing so much harder this year. And that's just a testament to he and that coaching staff, and they really have those kids playing hard, and it just jumped out on film to all of us, and I made sure to point that out to my coaches. I pointed it out to our kids that, it wasn't the role that we've seen in years past. But those kids are really playing hard, like I said, and we really respect what they're doing over there. So I think one of the things that, we saw is that, we have a lot to clean up. I make sure, like I said, the kids understand that when I turn that film on, I see that we saw some good things, but we have to play cleaner football. Especially early, we had lots of mental bust. I almost think our kids were too overhyped. A few of them were too amped for the Waller County battle, and we actually had to burn a few timeouts early, like I said, to settle them down and to get them more in a rhythm of what we were doing.
Okay, and I was noticing that throughout the course of the game. But, I also noticed a lot of you guys were cramping up, and it was extremely hot. I mean, it was hot at kickoff time. Is there anything that you can do in this modern era? I know back when we played, it was pickle juice, salt tablets, and anything like that. How do you combat the cramping up these days?
It's a hydration issue. That's one thing that we've taken pride in this year is our conditioning. And I've told our kids we've been in better condition, I feel like, than every team that we've stepped on the field with, from scrimmages to games. And the other night, like I said, I've tried to explain to them, every week, if you're driving a car, you can't wait till you get out on the highway to put gas in it. And so many of our kids, they just the hydration. They don't understand that throughout the week, Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday, I mean, that's when you have to get your water intake, and that's when you have to, get it into your body so that you're prepared for a Friday night. Many of our kids, they just don't properly hydrate, and that's something that we're going to take steps to, to kind of to fix starting this week.
Absolutely. Now, we know that nutrition and weight training are part of developing that full athlete. And the one thing about youth is that you're young, and you don't think you need to do all that because you might have special talents, special gifts over your competitors. How hard is it to drive that message in about taking care of yourself off the field?
It's very hard in this day and time. A lot of our kids are living off of fast food. They're living off of hot chips, hot Cheetos, and we try to explain to them, that's a major part of what we're trying to do. And a night like the other night kind of helps to drive that point into them. I can sit back and I can tell them, okay, I've told you to do A, B, and C. We haven't done it, and now we're having to pick you up off the field, multiple times because of the cramping issues and different things of that sort. But like I said, I've noticed throughout the years, a smaller program, smaller community, we don't have the nutrition, as far as different types of maybe shake supplements and different things that other bigger programs have. And I think that colleges see that and they come in, and some of our kids, you've seen them leave our high school at 170 and they'll be back in a year and a half at 190, 195 because, of that different, nutrition that they have at that level.
Absolutely, and that goes a huge, huge way. And you're talking about turning boys into men. Not only are they growing physically, but they're growing mentally, and in most cases, we're hoping spiritually. Now, you had another strong performance, and when I keep looking at this young man, I'm amazed that he's only a junior. And of course, I'm talking about Marvin Lewis. How special of a player is this young man?
I guess I've said it enough now that I can say it publicly, but he's actually a young junior on top of that. I tell people, I've been blessed. I've coached this game, I guess, 22 years or so. And, I've coached about 8 NFL football players, actually coached 2 NFL running backs. And at this point in his career, he's on par with those guys. I've had to sit him down and try to explain some things to him. I don't think he really understands what he has at times, but he's a special young man. On that field with that ball in his hands. And like I said, we just try to put him in positions to use the talent that he has.
Well, he makes it look so easy, man.
Yes, sir. And that's the good ones do. I always say, the good ones, like I said, they make the game look easy. And like I said, it looks like they're playing checkers when everybody else is playing chess. That's kind of one of the analogies I use, and he's one of those kids. He looks like he's playing checkers when everyone else is playing chess.
Yes, sir. Now, we're talking right now with Coach Royce Hill of the Hempstead Bobcats. Your next opponent, it'll be Academy. Explain what are going to be some of the keys of victory to take on Academy.
I told my coaches, speaking with a few of them yesterday, and this is really a scary opponent for us because, they're dangerous because, like I said, they've lost these first couple of games. And look, watching film, you just don't know how because very talented. They throw the ball all over the yard. It may be a long night in Academy, Texas, because they're going to spread that ball around. They may throw it 45 to 50 times. So it's going to be one of those nights, like I said, that we're going to have to be prepared. We're going to have to definitely get the quarterback off of his spot, pressure him some, and get that ball in there and. Hopefully we can turn him over a few times, like I said, give us more opportunities to score.
Absolutely. Now, you're going to have another pretty good quarterback yourself in McDade. Didn't turn loose too much, actually didn't have to, but he was pretty accurate with the passes that he did make on Friday.
He is, and his whole thing is, he's just it's just lack of experience in the pocket. And, that's the only thing, like I said, he's really lacking. I stay on him, like I say, daily. It's a mechanical battle with him. Great kid. He's going to do anything that he's asked to do. And I really believe, like I say, that some school is going to come in here and I think they're going to get a steal if they just take a shot on him because the kid is just scratching the surface, like I said, of what he really has. Big time arm talent. The kid can spin the football. So I'm really hoping that somebody gives him an opportunity to show at the next level.
Now, Coach, I was just listening to you talking about the nutrition or the lack thereof. Is it any way possible? You know, I have a love for Waller County. I'm a PV graduate. Is there any possibility that there can be a shadow programming? And I'm thinking not just Hempstead, but perhaps Waller and Royal to get some type of shadowing mentoring program, perhaps with Prairie View, on the keys and the factors of nutrition. Has that been sought out?
It has not, but I'm always open to any kind of like avenues that we can, use, especially out there at Prairie View. Like I say, being right down the road from us, I'm open to any ideas, like I said, that'll help us, move forward, in partnering with them. For sure.
Yes, sir. Now, like I said, I'll do whatever I can on this end, man, to help at least point you in the right direction. I can't always guarantee that they'll listen to me, but at least I'll be an advocate for you. How about that?
Yes, sir. We definitely appreciate that. You always do that for us, and I tell you, we appreciate it. Really do.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity to be able to take care of what we can while we can in Waller County. It's a labor of love for us, and we can't get it done without you guys' cooperation, and we thank you very much. Now, I do know, and I'm going to put this out there because you never know who's listening, right? It is a desire to have that Battle of Waller County played under the night lights at Prairie View's new stadium. Is that not right?
Well, I tell you that it's a beautiful facility, so we would definitely welcome the opportunity to be able to play there for sure.
Well, I tell you what, we never can tell what will happen, but we'll start ringing the bells right now. We got 363 days before that happens with the next Battle of Waller County, and we'll see what we can get done. How about that?
Yes, sir. Like I said, I would definitely welcome the opportunity to give our kids that experience and then that kind of avenue and kind of setting.
All right. Well, Coach, any departing words as we get ready to break on this segment?
No, like I said, with our kids, I'm proud of the way that they're bringing their hard hat every day. They're coming, trying to become 1-0 every week, and that's something that we're gonna focus on again this week. We got to start it over. I told them after the game the other night. The Waller County battle is over. Enjoy it tonight, but they knew tomorrow we've got to prepare to be 1-0 next week. So that's something that we're doing. We want to go to the academy this week with the same focus, trying to take care of our business and finish what we start.
Absolutely, Coach. We want to thank you so much. Good luck to you against Academy. Maybe they won't throw it 50 times. Maybe they'll throw it 49.
Hey, as long as a few of those are to us, I'm okay with it.
I do understand. The Bobcats will look to go 3-0 this week against Academy. And, of course, you can keep up with Bobcat football and athletics right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're going to take us another break, and we'll be right back with more of our Sunday Sports Report Live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Are you looking for an affordable way to increase your business? Let the Open Mic Broadcast Network lead the way. For a customized, affordable ad campaign, call 832-213-8824.
So this is Lonzo Hardy, Vice President of the SWAC Alumni Association. The SWAC Alumni Association is an organization founded in 1999 with the goal of enhancing the great legacy of excellence in the SWAC, as well as preserving the athletic heritage of the SWAC. Its membership is open to former athletes, as well as current and former coaches, assistant coaches, athletic administrators, referees, employees of conference member institutions, as well as fans of SWAC sports. Individuals interested in gaining membership can contact the organization's president, Roscoe Nance, at 509 Worcester Street in Herndon, Virginia, 20170. Annually, the SWAC Alumni Association holds a Legends Award in which Lifetime Achievement Awards are presented. Occasionally, a legend of the conference is honored in a roast, and annually 1 or 2 former student athletes are presented degree completion scholarship awards. Contact the organization's president, Roscoe Nance, at 509 Worcester Street in Herndon, Virginia, 20170.
Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Report Live. Mike Prince here with you. We've been hearing from all the local coaches. Greg Anderson, Gene Johnson. Last segment had Royce Hill. Now, as my grandmother would say, we're going to reach back and bring up an oldie but goodie. Going to give us a breakdown of this week's game of the week between the Arkansas Pine-Bluff Golden Lions and the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. None other than the old football coach himself, Johnnie Football Cole. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How you doing, my friend?
Man,
glad to have me on.
I'm glad to have you on, sir. And we had our game of the week, as we talked about. For those who were late on the scene, it was Arkansas Pine-Bluff going up against Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M had an impressive come-from-behind win against Morehouse, but they ran up and came short with a buzzkill called a Golden Lion. Give us a breakdown, Coach, on how things were from your vantage point.
Well, it was a surprise because, everybody had Alabama A&M the favorite. Last year they went 5-2, in the conference, and the two teams they lost to, of course, went on to play in the championship. So it was a surprise. Coach Cedric Thomas over at Pine Bluff must have did a great job recruiting. Jumped out real early, and it really wasn't a contest, after they put up 52 points in 3 quarters. And so, once again, A&M was trying to come back, but weren't able to.
Well, when you look at it at the tail of the tape, which I call the final stats, when you have over 300 yards rushing, that's a solid night's performance.
Ain't no question. And it was a lot of big plays. It seems like they go with two-head monster with 2 quarterbacks. Not sure if the first one got hurt, but both of them threw for 3 touchdowns. But when you rushing the ball like that, that means that the defense now got to play the run, and you're being able to put your best wide receivers in situations, in one-on-one situations, and that's what you want. That's the personnel battle, and Pine Bluff was able to take advantage of that. Each quarterback threw for 3 touchdowns, even though they rushed for 300 yards.
We're speaking right now with Johnnie Football Cole. You don't mind me calling you Johnnie Football, huh, sir?
Oh, no, sir.
Breaking down the game of the week, SWAC game of the week. Pine Bluff Golden Lions go out and take care of business 52-34. And I spoke with the vice president and associate director at SID, Duane Lewis. The score was actually sounds closer than what it actually was, man. They just kind of had their wheel with the Bulldogs all game long.
Yeah, with no question. It seems like neither defense showed up. And when you running the ball like that and being able to, play action that thing up in there, and you have people running wide open. Like I said, there was a lot of big plays, a lot of big runs. Their top receiver, Abrams, his longest catch was about 59 yards. So those guys did a great job. And I tell you, I know Coach Maynard over there was throwing the ball all across the football field. And I think his starting quarterback had about 40-some attempts, but you got to be able to establish that run game, and that wears the other team down. And like I said, there's 3 phases of the game. There's offense, defense, and the kicking game. And Arkansas Pine Bluff was at least winning 2 of those.
Absolutely. Now, other SWAC games of the week, Southern University went to Memphis, lost 55-24. Prairie View losing to University of Houston by the score of 37-17. Grambling with an impressive outing. They fell short against Louisiana Tech by the score of 20-14. Tuskegee and Alabama State went down to the wire, as it has in the last few years, 38-31. Alabama State victorious. Jackson State not able to take care of South Alabama, losing by the score of 37-14. And you had Texas Southern not able to answer to Incarnate Word, losing by the score of 63-43. But probably the surprise game, let me give Alcorn. Alcorn handled Mississippi College by a score of 45-7. But probably the most surprise game of them all was Mississippi Valley going into overtime, losing to Lamar by the score of 23-20. Actually gave that lead up with under 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Two fourth down drives. Valley comes up short. Were there any other games you were able to scope out this weekend, Brother Cole?
Yeah, I was able to see that Lamar game. I thought Valley did a great job. And, I seen Valley the first week against Tennessee State. And they're very, very scrappy. Don't blink your eyes on Valley. Those kids over there, they play 4 quarters. I think the addition of Coach Totten on that staff, another older guy. I see the improvement. I see the recruiting, and those guys fight all 4 quarters. And they played Tennessee State tough as well. So they've had 2 tough weeks to come down to the end of the game. They were driving against Tennessee State as well and stalled like on the 30-yard going in. So they're doing a good job over there. That's what you want to see when you get a team, a young coach. You want to see that. You want to see those close games, and all those games make your team better.
Now, Coach, when it goes, this was the week a lot of guys played up, to the paydays, this, that, and the other. When you were back coaching, what were some of the things you looked for when you took a quote-unquote guarantee game or played up? Was it necessarily all about the money, or did you try to put yourself in the best position to win that out-of-conference game?
Well, ain't no question that every game that you line up that you're trying to win. And, and that was the thing about us. But most teams make their biggest jumps from game 1 to game 2. You got the game 1 jitters and you're trying to get everybody, your timing right with your quarterbacks and wide receivers. And, when you play that money game and the game speeds up, the biggest thing you're looking for as a coach is to cut back on your mistakes, making sure that everybody is on the same page.
Okay.
So, it's more than just a money game. It's also, it helps you in recruiting. When you're trying to get transfers and you're trying to get top players, you let them know that we're a program that play top teams. And all these kids want to play like the Division I level, and all of them, just can't. So this gives you a good opportunity to sell your program as well.
Okay, and it's not too early to say your team is either at this level or the next level because they're still developing, though, right? Even though there's a big jump from week 1 to week 2.
Oh yeah. Teams, depends on, whether you got a lot of freshmen playing, whether you got, a lot of upperclassmen, but you'll see the biggest jump from game 1 to game 2. And now in game 3, you'll settle down and basically you'll see who can play and where you need to improve at, and hopefully you make the adjustments when you're going into game 3. Because when other teams scout you as well, they start picking up your tendencies. And by game 3, you really show your tendencies of what you do offensively and defensively.
Well, here's where I was going to ask you from your vantage point. When you're playing these games, because there are no preseasons when it comes to college, right? So you're
right.
playing in Prairie View's case and Pine-Bluff and in Alabama A&M's case, their games were unique because they're playing conference games right out the bat. But when you're playing these non-conference games, are you really revealing your full hand, or are you still trying to develop guys in real life situations?
Oh no! Hey, when the season starts, you know, well, my philosophy is I try to find football players in the spring, and to me, you win championships in the summer. But when that season starts, you know, you get 12 weeks to get it right, and you know, you can't take a week off and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna play this person or this. You know, you got to be able to be working on your timing. You know, you got to find out, you know, if you got a quarterback duel, who's going to be that guy, you know, as well as the running back guy. And then you really, basically, you know, you might be a foreign type of head coach, but then you got to really realize, you know, what's best? Where are my best athletes at? You know, defensively wise, are we a great man team or are we a great zone team? You know, and you got to be able to find that out early, because when you start getting in the thick of things, you know, coming out of this preseason playing, you got to know what direction you got to be going.
Okay,
and sometimes, you know, that you got to do some things against your philosophy.
And with that being said, are you able to determine through your personnel in spring if you're going to be a man team or a zone team, or is it still too early to figure that out?
Yeah, it's still too early, especially on the 1AA level because of the recruiting. You know, 1AA level, Division II, Division III. You know, you that small animal. You know, that means you got to come out at night to do your recruitment. You know, you got to wait till all the big boys. You know, you got to wait till they go through spring practice. You know, who they kicking off the team, who's what, and then you continue to recruit. You know, when I won the championship in 2010. You know, if you know my background, I've been very successful in throwing the football. But my best athletes was in at running back. And we as an offensive staff, you know, and as a head coach, you know, had to swallow pride and say, look, we need to get the ball to the best players on our football team, because we were very solid defensively, but we weren't very solid at the quarterback spot. So we had to change our philosophy and run the ball. And fortunately, we went on to win the championship.
Absolutely. We're talking with Johnnie Football Cole as he is doing our breakdown of the game of the week. Well, Coach, this week coming up, Texas Southern will be at UL Lafayette. You have Jackson State will be taking on Tennessee State. You will have Alabama A&M taking on North Alabama. And Southern University will host Edward Waters. McNeese and Alcorn, all eyes will be on that one. And we'll have Pine-Bluff taking on Langston, as well as, as Alabama State will be taking on Kennesaw, and Prairie View hosting Nichols. Who's going to be your game of the week, man?
Wow, that's a tough one. Let's kind of run through those, and I'm kind of looking at them now. And do we got any SWAC on SWAC?
No, I don't think we'll have any SWAC on SWAC encounters this week.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go with Jackson State.
Jackson State, Tennessee State?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game. You know, it's the classic up there in Memphis. It's been going on for a while. Old Fred Jones is the promoter. I know him very well, and I had the opportunity to coach up in that game. So I think it's going to be real exciting. Tennessee State has beaten Jackson 9 years straight. I hear that the head coach at Tennessee State is on a must-win season, and Jackson State with Coach Henderson up there. Jackson State is doing a good job, and he's got the offensive coordinator who has gotten off to a slow start, but hopefully they can get things going this week.
Okay, well, you got it, my man. Tennessee State, Jackson State, our game of the week for next Sunday night. And look, Coach, we'll do it same time, same channel next week. How does that sound?
Thank you. Thank you for making me a part. And, you know, it's just an exciting time. College football is just now getting going, and just football season, period. I know everybody is cooking up and you know, having their football parties. So it's just an exciting time, and it's exciting times for me as well. I'd just like to thank you again for making me a part.
No problem at all. Johnnie Football Cole will be with us on next week. We are going to take us a break for our final segment and reminding you that you're listening to the Sports Report Live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it where you got it. We'll be right back.
The birth of legends are storied in this conference. We must never forget our rich history. We now turn our gaze to the future. The new legends will emerge. New heroes to arise. The Southwestern Athletic Conference. Be our history.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Call Agent Jeremy West at 936-931-3696 to see if you qualify to save up to 40% off your auto insurance.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Report Live. We want to thank Johnnie Football Cole, our last segment with the breakdown of Pine-Bluff, Arkansas, as they tripped up everybody with that, I guess we call it an upset win. I tell you what's got me upset right now is the lack of performance by my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh my goodness. I'm looking and I'm rubbing my eyes to make sure this is what I'm seeing. 30-3 is the score. Patriots having their way with the black and gold. And guess what? The Patriots have just gotten better, picking up Antonio Brown after he was released from the Oakland Raiders. I don't know about you, but I smell a conspiracy. I promise you I do. I smell a conspiracy, and I don't know exactly what to do about it or how to deal with it, but it is what it is. Hopefully the Steelers can regroup after this week and take care of some things, and we'll count it up as the one that got away or the runaway train, however you want to call it. Remember that movie Speed? That's what the Patriots were like tonight against my beloved Steelers. Well, we are just about done for this week's episode of the Mike Prince Show. We do want to remind you, not the Mike Prince Show, but the Sports Report Live. The Mike Prince Show does come to you each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be hearing from Duane Lewis. He is Vice President. We did not get a chance to get him in today. We do apologize about that, but we'll have him served up on a platter tomorrow morning for the Mike Prince Show. And we'll also have other, as they say, important and interesting events throughout the course of the week. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. Remember that you can follow us on social media at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at The Mike Prince Show. We are also available on the YouTube channel. That is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We want to thank all of our guests for tonight. Coach Greg Anderson of Royal, Coach Gene Johnson of Waller, Coach Royce Hill of Hempstead. We want to thank Johnnie Football Cole, Johnnie Football Cole, for joining with us on tonight. And we want to thank you, the listener. I am about to get out of here and exit stage left. But until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side. Good night.